The mistake. I remember the exact moment I knew I had made a mistake. Not when the stress started, not when the money started disappearing, not when I began pretending everything was fine. That moment. I was standing inside my first apartment, completely alone. The keys were still warm in my hand. That warmth you only notice when something irreversible has just happened. The door locked behind me. The sound echoed longer than I expected. Metal on metal. Final. I didn't move. I just stood there. I had imagined this moment for years. I imagined excitement. I imagined relief. I imagined pride, freedom, independence, my own space. No more asking permission. No more explaining myself. No more waiting for approval. This was supposed to feel like arrival. I reached for the switch. The light went off. Instantly. No flicker, no warning. The room went silent. Not peaceful silence, heavy silence. The kind that presses against your chest. Then my phone vibrated. I assumed it was congratulations. Instead, it was a message from the landlord. We'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. That night, sitting on the bare floor of an empty apartment, walls echoing every breath I took, I realized something most people only learn when it's already too late. Why this matters to you. If you're planning to rent your first place, if you've already found one, if you're excited and counting days, pause. This isn't a warning meant to scare you. It's a reminder meant to protect you. Because people don't talk about renting honestly. They post keys. They post selfies. They post captions about adulting. They don't post anxiety. They don't post regret. They don't post sleepless nights. I'm about to share 8 things I wish someone had told me before I signed my first lease. Not theory, not advice from privilege. Experience. Stay with me, especially for number 7. That one doesn't scream. It waits. Part 1. Confidence without preparation. When I decided to move out, I was confident. Not reckless, not careless, confident. I had saved money, I had planned, I had done the calculations, or so I believed. In my mind, moving out meant adulthood. No more rules, no more waiting, no more explaining. What no one tells you is this. Confidence feels like preparation, but it isn't. Confidence assumes. Preparation confirms. I believed one lie almost every first-time renter believes. Once I pay rent, everything else will fall into place. It didn't. Life doesn't organize itself around rent. Rent is one bill. Living is many. Excitement convinces you that you're ready. Experience proves whether you actually are. Part 2. Rent is only the entry fee. The agent smiled and said the apartment was affordable. That word disarmed me. Affordable sounded responsible. Affordable sounded safe. But affordable compared to what? Your income today? Your expenses tomorrow? Your emergencies next month? I paid the rent, paid the deposit, shook hands. I thought I was done. I wasn't. The extra costs didn't arrive loudly. They arrived quietly. Electricity bills that didn't make sense. Water fees that changed monthly. Generator contributions. Security levies. Waste disposal charges. Every month, money left my account. And every month, my confidence shrank. Here's the truth nobody explains clearly. Rent is just the entry fee. Living there is the real cost. If you only calculate rent, you're not budgeting, you're hoping. Before signing, ask, what will I pay monthly besides rent? What will I pay yearly? What happens when something breaks? Clarity now prevents panic later. Part 3. The lease controls your peace. That lease document is not a formality. It's control. Most people skim it. They trust the agent. They don't want to feel difficult. I skimmed too, until I noticed one sentence buried quietly inside. A clause allowing rent to increase without notice. One sentence. That sentence decided my future. If you don't understand what you're signing, you're agreeing to consequences you cannot argue against later. Read slowly. Look for rent increase clauses, notice periods, exit penalties, repair responsibilities. If someone rushes you to sign, they're not helping you. They're protecting themselves. Part 4. Inspection is not a tour. Inspection day is not for admiration. It's for investigation. Agents are trained to distract you. Fresh paint, bright lights, clean tiles. I nodded too much. I tested too little. Weeks later, problems appeared. Weak water pressure, sockets that didn't work, doors that wouldn't lock. And suddenly, all those problems were mine. When inspecting, be uncomfortable. Turn on every tap, test every socket, open every door, flush every toilet. 10 minutes of awkwardness is cheaper than months of regret. Part 5. You live in systems, not rooms. You don't live in an apartment. You live in its systems. Water, power, security, waste. A beautiful apartment without steady water is punishment. Ask, how often is power available? Is there a generator or inverter? Who pays for fuel? How reliable is the water supply? Luxury means nothing if daily life is stressful. Part 6. One visit is a lie. Never rent an apartment after one visit. Daytime hides reality. At night, the truth shows up. Noise, traffic, chaos, fear. Visit in the morning. Visit in the afternoon. Visit at night. Ask, is it safe? Does it flood? How bad does traffic get? Your home doesn't stop at your door. Part 7. The silence after payment. Before payment, landlords respond fast. After payment, some disappear. Ask clearly, who handles plumbing? Who fixes electrical issues? How long do repairs take? Vague answers today become long-suffering tomorrow. This is the one that quietly ruins people because it doesn't start loud. Part 8. Rules that shrink your life. Rules. Some apartments control visitors. Some control cooking. Some control pets. Some control working from home. Imagine paying rent and still asking permission to live. Always ask for rules before paying. Freedom is part of rent. Document everything. Before moving in, take photos, record videos, keep receipts. When problems arise, memory won't protect you. Evidence will. The pressure to move. There's a pressure people don't talk about. The pressure to move out before you're ready. Friends start moving. People your age start posting keys. Relatives start asking questions. So, when are you getting your own place? You're still there? You should be independent by now. No one asks if you're prepared. They ask if you're behind. So, you rush. Not because you're ready, but because you don't want to feel left out. I didn't move because everything was aligned. I moved because staying started to feel embarrassing. And that's dangerous, because decisions made to impress people usually punish you in private. Adulthood is not moving out early. Adulthood is moving out prepared. Added section. The first night reality. That first night matters more than people admit. The excitement fades fast. The silence gets louder. You realize there's no backup plan, no one to ask, no one to blame, just you and your choices. That first night teaches you quickly, a house can be empty and still heavy. You start replaying conversations, rereading messages, second-guessing decisions. That's when you understand. Independence feels powerful in photos, but lonely in reality, at first. And if your environment is wrong, loneliness turns into regret. The myth of "I'll adjust." There's another lie we tell ourselves. I'll adjust. I told myself that about everything. The noise, the water issues, the bills, the rules. I'll adjust. But here's the truth. Some things don't build character. They drain you. Adjusting to discomfort is not maturity. It's survival. A good apartment doesn't require constant adjustment. It supports your life instead of fighting it. Hidden costs no one mentions. Some costs never show up on paper. Transport costs when traffic is worse than expected. Food costs when cooking becomes difficult. Health costs when stress affects sleep. You don't notice them immediately. They sneak in slowly. By the time you feel them, they're normal. But normal doesn't mean healthy. A cheap apartment that costs you peace is expensive. Closing. Full circle. That first apartment taught me responsibility. It taught me patience. It taught me awareness. But it didn't have to be painful. If you're about to rent your first place, pause, ask questions, protect your peace. Because keys are easy to get. A peaceful home is not.